Part 4. Endless Silver Machine. Author, Muse Hiking. Chapter 31. Ika reorganized the words of the man in white in her mind. I understand everything you said, if what you just said is true. We don't need to deceive you, because the truth I told you will know from other places soon. The man in white curled his lips. The Nemesis Society will create a new world. Only we can realize the tragic wishes of the Chiz family and the Heinz family. In a world like this, you cannot get the so-called happiness. So, the man in white made an impassioned speech and extended his hand to Ika. Become our partner. I reject. Ika also smiled and refused the man in white's sincere invitation without any hesitation. Elder brother. Fortunately, it is up to us to decide whether we are happy or not. Even if we and Ling's family are just victims, we must regain everything we lost that originally belonged to us, but we will never use your method. I will never admit that you will what others do as victims. Ika's reply made Lugo feel relieved. She originally thought she might be incited by the man in white, because even she was shaken after hearing the truth. I would support my brother's wishes, but I knew he might go the wrong way, but I couldn't stop him. This conflicting mood was dispelled by Ika. Sure enough, just like the eldest sister said, it won't have any effect now. The man in white pressed the brim of his hat, his expression not too surprised. But if I just go back like this, you probably won't accept it, right? Because you still owe me an explanation, right? Ika summoned the silver-white twin guns. Your greeting almost cost us our lives. Will I simply let you go? Although Ika was not prepared to let the man in white escape like this, she was not prepared to confront him head-on. Special magic power fluctuations emanated from his body, and that kind of fluctuation proved that the other party was also a holder of magic equipment, and his strength was even greater than his own. Now that Lugo is around, Ika must protect her and delay time to attract the attention of the Imperial City Defense Bureau. The Imperial City Defense Bureau is not far from here. Although it seems to be in some kind of barrier, as long as the battle starts here, the magic power will be leaked to the outside world as if it were in Way 11's realm. Lugo, don't leave my side. While Ika said this to Lolo beside him, he raised his somewhat heavy guns. How far is it? I really can't stand you, come up here. Hurry up. Ah wow, thank you, thank you. Ling picked up Way 11 and ran toward her destination under the gaze of passers-by. Ling's athletic ability is very strong, but Way 11, who is much younger than her, cannot keep up. However, it was Ling's mistake to have too much hope for Way 11's body, which was still in its early stages of development. Before she ran very far, the scenery in front of Way 11 began to shake, and her body swayed from side to side like a fallen leaf. So Ling decisively carried her on his back. Just point me in the direction. They had given up their plan to go to the headquarters building of the Imperial City Defense Bureau. Although the headquarters building was only 1 block away, Way 11 noticed a hint of disharmony on the way. That feeling was the barrier she was most familiar with. I only know the approximate location, but can't find the entrance. From the beginning, they have been searching for the starting point of the barrier on the street. No. That kind of enchantment covers a large area, and it belongs to the domain in the enchantment. Is it the one you used in the tavern? Way 11 lay on Ling's back and looked around. If he can expand his field, he might be a very powerful barrier magician. But the people around here seem normal. While looking for the base point of the barrier, Ling also observed the scenery along the way. There is no difference between this place and the previous blocks. People here are also enjoying the comfortable life at night. That's what field is. Way 11 was about to explain to Ling, but she happened to find her target when she didn't expect it. This is it. On the left side of the intersection ahead. There are more important things than explanations right now. Finally found it? Ling gasped for air, her throat already hurting like fire. This level of movement may be the first time I have experienced it since I was born. But if you want to say can't do it here, which is a useless thing, Ling will never do it even if she can't get married in her life. She mustered up the energy to carry Way 11 and turn into the alley on the left side of the intersection. You guys came so late. The red-haired girl Tyrua was standing in the middle of the road with her arms crossed. The Imperial City Defense Bureau has set up a cordon here, and car lights can be seen flashing on the street corner. Why are you here? Ling was a little unhappy. Although they were no longer hostile to each other in the previous fight, it would only make people feel disgusting if they showed closeness right away. Didn't I say that? Tyrua showed a really confused expression. I also participated in the battle against the Nemesis Society as a foreign aide. This is the responsibility of the sister of the captain of the Imperial City Defense Bureau. But only it's the holidays. I can say with certainty that you never said that. Although Ling did hear from Shun before that Ruth's sister would also participate in the battle. Way 11 didn't have the energy to pay attention to the quarrel between Ling and Tilyuya this time. After she left Ling's back, she quickly deployed the pure white magic circle. I can only open the entrance to the field for everyone, but I can't go in myself, so just do what you have to do with peace of mind, and leave the rest to me. Ling reached out and patted Way 11's little head. Maybe she originally wanted to touch her head, or maybe she didn't think so. I'll go in with you too. The bright red magic particles visible to the naked eye constructed the majestic knight's spear in Tilyuya's hands. Judging from this kind of magic power fluctuation, it shouldn't be an easy enemy to deal with. There is one more enemy. Everyone needs insurance. At this time, Tyrua didn't care about the conflict between herself and Ling at all, and maturely chose the most appropriate approach. Tyruya's actions also pushed Ling to let go of her prejudices. Thank you, thank you. This is the first time the two of them have joined forces to face the same goal. Before Way 11 found the base point of the barrier, the battle situation in the field was already one-sided. All the buildings in the street were destroyed and turned into ruins with no trace of their original appearance. Ika was also covered in wounds, and the man in white who called himself Veer showed overwhelming fighting power. His weapon is not this field, but several dark green daggers floating around him. Magic costume, Jack the Ripper, that's what we're called, his magic costume. The wound opened by the dark green dagger did not stop the bleeding. Instead, it quickly took away Ika's physical strength as if it was absorbing its own magic power. Elder brother, don't come over here. As if planned in advance, the battle between Ika and Weir has been going on far away from Lolo. As promised, he did not sneak attack the helpless Lolo, which made Ika feel relieved a little. But if this continues, you will lose. Give up. It's impossible for you to defeat me just as you are now. Weir, standing proudly among the ruins, raised an unknown smile. Or, you have those trustworthy partners, so you can do this. Are you confident? Beside Ika, who was already crumbling, two intruding girls supported his body. Is that person the enemy? That's what it looks like. Ling raised two sharp dachi swords, while Tyruya waved down the knight's spear. The two of them did not feel nervous at all when facing an unknown enemy. Instead, they showed confident smiles that they would never lose. It seems that the situation has become unfavorable to me. Weir pressed the brim of his hat and jumped back to distance himself from them. That's it for today. My goal has been achieved. But I still want to a friendly reminder to you. Your weapons should not be directed at the Nemesis Society. The surrounding scene quickly faded as if dissolved, but the streets remained intact. Way 11 was kneeling on the ground and panting, as well as the Imperial City Defense Bureau detachment standing guard around her. In this way, Vile evaporated from this space as the realm disappeared. The Imperial City Defense Bureau took over the incident and handled the aftermath. Although my blood has a therapeutic effect, how much vampire blood a human can accept depends only on his own efforts. At the scene of the incident, Tyrua bit her finger without hesitation and dripped her blood into Aika's mouth. The three girls all expressed their gratitude to Tyrua, but she didn't seem to want to be thanked for such a thing. If his body feels uncomfortable because of my blood, he can come to the Imperial City Defense Bureau to find me at any time. After a brief explanation, she hurriedly left the scene of the incident. After that, after the four people at the center of the incident took detailed notes in Ruth's office, Shun and Liuyan also rushed to the headquarters building. Sorry, that person escaped. So until now, no one has caught any clues about the Nemesis Society. And aren't your weapons supposed to be pointed at us? Aika still can't understand what the words "we're left behind" mean. End La Silver Machine. Author, Muse Hiking. Chapter 32. Sorry, I can't say goodbye to you today. I have prepared this for you as an apology. With it, you can contact me at any time. Anyway, these are the words Shun asked me to convey. There are also gifts he gave you, please keep them. To go to Frost Moon Academy, you must first take an airship to a neutral area. Shun has been working overtime at the Imperial City Defense Bureau recently, so only Liuyan came to see everyone off today. The civilian airship leading to the neutral area has entered the port, and it is time for Aika and the others to part ways with Liuyan. This is. Aika took over the all-black handheld machine, and the other three girls also had one. Shun prepared a portion for everyone. This is a PDA. The button on the left is the power button. Everyone started the small machines in their hands according to Liuyan's instructions. The dark screen lit up, and various icons and text were displayed on the screen. Everyone in the BZ Empire should have PDAs, so it's not a particularly rare thing. You should be able to receive magic signals in neutral areas. It should be said that as long as there is magic technology, you can receive magic signals. Here we are. Let's get in touch over there. Xiaoyan, I have something else to do next, so I won't stay here for long. I'll see you again when you have a chance. Leaving no chance for everyone to catch her, Liuyan turned around and hid in the newly purchased motorcycle after leaving these words. She thought she had covered it up perfectly, but everyone could hear the hint of crying in her voice. The locomotive immediately left everyone's sight. See you again when you have a chance. Aika repeated the sentence in a low voice. Goodbye is a much better farewell greeting than farewell. The announcement prompting the airship to start boarding sounded in the airport, and Ling and Wei 11 boarded the airship first. Brother, let me get it for you. No. Aika leaned the unknown package on her back and clenched her fists, otherwise such a heavy package would slip from her sweaty hands. Brother, I'm sorry, I can't be of much help. Sure enough, it's still too heavy. Luoluo, come and carry Wei 11's luggage. Ling must have bought something before departure. How could it be so heavy if it was just clothes? Thank you, Luoluo, for still being with me. How could it be? As he said this, Luoluo did not hide the joy in his heart. Since it is a rare compliment from my brother, I should accept it more frankly, right? Aika doesn't want to hear Luoluo apologize to herself. The person who really needs to apologize is herself. But if two people are together, if everyone is together, there will definitely be no confusion. The future is full of uneasiness, but you just need to keep your current mood in mind. Happiness, sadness, confusion, cheerfulness, never forget these feelings. In this case, you will be able to move forward without any hesitation. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. End La Silver Machine. Author, Muse Hiking. Chapter 34. Chapter 34. The girl climbed forward alone along the crisscrossing forest paths. I don't know where my destination is, and I don't remember the fork in the road I just passed. The girl felt a little guilty for running away from home just because she was angry with her family. However, if I go back like this, I feel a little aggrieved for no reason. So, the girl still walked forward. As the altitude increases, the colorful flowers on the mountainside disappear. The girl slowed down her pace. It was the first time for my father and mother to leave their hometown of the imperial capital and come to a strange border area. However, she was put under house arrest in a temporary residence on the grounds that the border area is very dangerous, and the girl had trouble with her parents. After walking along the rugged mountain road for so long, the girl could no longer restrain her desire to go home. Her legs were shaking from exhaustion, her favorite clothes had become wrinkled, and tears overflowed from the girl's eyes. The view gradually broadened, and there were only steep cliffs in front of us. The girl moved forward slightly and peeked down the cliff. There is only bottomless darkness and cold wind under the cliff. The girl shuddered and slowly moved back. Having escaped from home for so long, the excitement gradually subsided. Although I can't remember the way home, there will always be a way to go back. The girl turned around with a sense of luck. Her mind was so full of things that her brain was unable to react in time to emergencies. A black shadow swept out from the forest behind, brushed the girl's arm, and disappeared into the cliff behind her. The girl's trembling legs ignored the pain and took a slow step back. A subtle sound of gravel rang in my ears, followed by a sense of floating. There was nothing left to support her on the soles of her feet, and the girl finally knew the reality. "Father, Mother, I'm sorry." This was the only thing that came to the girl's mind. The passage of time has obviously slowed down, but I can't think of anything else to say. Your vision becomes blurry. Are you too nervous, or are your eyes blurred by tears? The blue sky in front of her seemed so far away. The girl stretched out her hand, but she couldn't touch it. Is this the punishment for willfulness? The girl expressed her apologies and blessings to her parents in her heart, closed her eyes, and handed herself over to fate. End La Silver Machine. Author, Muse Hiking. Chapter 35. Xuanjiao Academy is located in the neutral zone of the mainland, and the development speed of its surrounding areas even exceeds that of all surrounding countries. Unowned commercial centers sprang up here, and the capital base accounted for most of the world economy. Is this Shimizuki Academy? It's very different from the style of the imperial capital. Ika completely ignored the curious looks cast by pedestrians on him and looked around the unfamiliar streets excitedly. Everyone simply distributed their luggage on the train, so now everyone carries the weight they can bear. Thanks to this, Ika's burden has been reduced a lot. This is a commercial street in a neutral area. Brother Ika, are there many people looking at us? Wei 11 explained to Ika in a low voice, and at the same time lowered the brim of the big hat with both hands in an attempt to cover her face. Ika, can you stop looking around? It's so embarrassing. Ling felt as if he had returned to his own territory. He was relaxed and generous, and he did not feel the restraint of visiting a foreign place for the first time. She hadn't noticed yet that nearly one-third of the people who looked at them were attracted by her figure. Brother, there should be a station for regional trains further ahead. Luoluo took out a handkerchief from his pocket with his free hand and handed it to Ika. Or, shall we find a place to rest first? Thank you. Ika took the handkerchief handed over by Luoluo. However, I remember Liuyan said before that all registrations will be completed tonight, and then tomorrow there will be a speech by the principal of the school or some important gathering. Then let's take the local train directly to Shiyu Academy. I also want to take a rest. Luoluo, are you suffering from heat stroke? Sister Ling. Sure enough. Ling put her hand on Luoluo's forehead. Why didn't you tell me earlier if you had a heat stroke? Don't you advocate not hiding anything if something happens? Why can't I keep my words? Ling knocked Luoluo on the head unceremoniously. Sorry. Anyway, let's find a place to rest now. Ling, help me get the things and I'll carry her for a while. Ika took off his backpack and handed it to Ling, but don't want. Don't make trouble at this time, we have to rush. There are so many passers-by here, Luo won't be willing to do it. The angry person was Ling. There is a restaurant next to it, haven't you thought about resting there? Sister Luo, please leave your luggage to me first. Xiao 11, thank you, please. I'm sorry, I can only do this kind of thing. No, Wei 11 just needs to do what she can do at the moment. Ika gently put her hand on Wei 11's head through the hat. Eh? Brother Ika, did you hear that? Wei 11 lowered her head and twisted her body slightly, as if to avoid Ika's hand. Also, there's no need to wear this hat all the time, right? Ika opened the door of the family restaurant. Although this outfit is also very cute, I still want to see more of you letting your hair down. Look. Thank you. Wei 11 lowered the brim of her hat again. The latter sentence was masked by the sound of wind chimes. What is tropical jujhan juice? It seemed that this was Ling's first time reading the menu. Her previous calmness had disappeared. She kept staring at the various unfamiliar terms on the menu. This is my first time coming to a place like this, but since it is a recommended product, I should. Have the guests decided? If you are not in a hurry to order now, you can use the bell on the table to call me when needed. The waiter who received them was a young orc girl. She always had a professional smile on her face. Before asking this question, she had been waiting quietly for the table of hesitant customers to order. Although her big fluffy tail was wagging back and forth, revealing her mood, the four godlike guests in front of her didn't notice. Their attention was all on Luo. I'm sorry, then I'll give you the recommended 4 servings of juice. Please add ice to one of them. 4 glasses of juice. The girl recorded on the ordering machine. Okay, please wait a moment. Please wait a moment, waitress. Is there anything else you need? Although she was delayed for so much time and was stopped after placing her order, she still showed a professional smile and did not show any dissatisfaction in front of the godlike guests. Excuse me, are you a student of Xuanjiao College? Well, it's like this. Suddenly asked about her identity, the girl became obviously wary. This is not a pickup. Ika smelled the misunderstanding in the eyes of the girls around her. We are the new students who are going to register at Shiyu Academy tonight. I just want to ask, how can we go to Shiyu Academy from here? When is the fastest train in the park? Shiyu Academy will not admit new students in the second semester. Well, for various reasons. After a silent stalemate, it was the girl who finally gave up first. There is a direct station at the intersection in front, and there will be one until midnight. Thank you. I'm sorry to have delayed you for so long. It doesn't matter. I ask you to take more care of my business in the future. Is this your store? Be sure to remember it carefully. In fact, I am also a freshman at Shigetsuki Academy, but I am enrolled in the first semester. If you are a transfer student, we may be in the same class. That's really something to look forward to. The girl's ears moved back and forth. Ears and tails are the most direct expression of their race's emotions, but Ika doesn't know this. I'm sorry to disturb you. Someone seemed to have said before that they were in a hurry. Ling tapped the table lightly with her fingers, an unhappy aura emanating from her body. No, sorry. I'm going to prepare your orders right now, sorry. Frightened by Ling's aura, the girl quickly bent down and apologized twice, then trotted backstage in a panic. Chiuke, how many times have I told you not to run around in the store? I'm sorry, Dad. As a result, I was scolded by the store manager. End La Silver Machine. Author, Muse Hiking. Chapter 36. When the 4 of them arrived at Frost Moon Academy, the sky had completely darkened. At the main entrance of the academy, Everyone met the instructor with tearful eyes, Letica who was responsible for receiving them. "You are finally here," Principal Phyllis said. "You would arrive in the afternoon, so I have been waiting until now. I also missed the dinner in the cafeteria." Teacher Letica looked very pitiful, completely opposite to the image of a majestic teacher that everyone imagined. "Well." Ika scratched his head at a loss, "because there was an accident on the road. For dinner, if you can borrow kitchen utensils, we have a dedicated chef who can help you solve the problem." "Brother, is that chef referring to me? Please, you're the best at this among us." Ika whispered in Luoluo's ear, and the temperature of Luoluo's brain instantly increased. "I knew it. As for kitchen utensils, you can borrow them as long as the instructor agrees. I have been listening to Principal Phyllis' arrangements for you all noon. I only had breakfast today." Everyone is becoming more and more sympathetic to the mentor who will be with them for 2.5 years. On the way, Instructor Letica gave everyone a brief introduction to Frost Moon Academy. "We are going to Principal Phyllis's office now, but the office building and the teaching building are connected. There is a transfer magic device between the two buildings. You will know it after you use it. Each grade is divided into 4 classes. The first grade is Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. The second grade is Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio. The third grade is Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. There are only about 20 students in each class. Miss Wei 11, long time no see. A year ago, you and Miss Liuyan came to explain to us the magic construction formulas of the enchantment system and element system. Even now, many instructors still use it as a template in teaching. Teacher Letica, now I am also your student, so please don't use honorifics to me." Teacher Letica turned to the other 3 people. "Shijizuki Academy is an organization that cultivates outstanding talents regardless of country or race. This can effectively contain the combat power of various countries. As long as students persist until graduation, they can basically achieve what they want to do. There are still 2 years to come. I can give you half of the time to consider, but I personally hope you can graduate successfully." After Teacher Letica finished speaking, everyone fell into silence. Ika and Luoluo came to Shiyu Academy at the request of their parents, while Ling and Wei 11 followed them here. They still don't know what they want to do and what goals they must achieve at Shimizuki Academy. Wei 11 had to stand on her tiptoes to press the highest button on the elevator. Although everyone wanted to lend a helping hand at first, seeing her red face and hard work, they chose to watch silently. "Wei 11, do you know what kind of person the principal here is?" Ika didn't ask this question until now, because it was only when she stood in front of the principal's office that she felt real nervousness. "They should be good people." Why did you pause at the end?" At this time, the door to the principal's room was suddenly pushed open, and a figure rushed out of the room. Because the other party didn't raise his head to look ahead, he bumped into Ika, who was just about to knock on the door. Ika, who was completely defenseless, was knocked to the ground. The weight and touch on his body told him intuitively that the other person was of the opposite sex. But Ika didn't have time to confirm. "Yeah, sorry." The other party apologized hastily and immediately got up from him, stumbling towards the elevator. All that passed Ika's eyes was a flowing ribbon. Things happened too suddenly, and the person who penetrated was the woman who walked out of the room right after the girl. "What, it turns out you are already here. I was just thinking about why Letica hasn't brought you to my place at this point in time. However, that boy, I remember his name is Ika, right? You are sitting here. What are you doing on the ground?" "I see. You don't have to worry about that child just now. I will go and have a good chat with her later. Actually, there's nothing special to say in calling you here. Our Shimatsuki Academy has nothing to do with the Empire or the Holy See, so no one here will care about your grievances and grudges with the Holy See. Rather, most of the other students here, I don't even know what happened to you, so don't worry, Just enjoy your youth here. The principal of the school, Phyllis, is a young-looking female from the divine race. Because the lifespan of the gods is generally very long, her age cannot be inferred from her appearance. According to Letica's mentor, she was called Aurora during the Cross-Border War, and the Cross-Border War has been over 100 years ago, so based on everyone's minimum speculation in private. Everyone was sitting on the guest sofa in the room, and because the right to talk had been firmly held by Principal Phyllis, they never had the chance to interrupt. Your dormitory assignment, wait a minute, I'll look for it. She opened the desk drawer and rummaged through it. The room was instantly filled with the sound of paper rustling. By the way, Way 11, are you going to enroll as a student this time? Yes, it's like this. Way 11, who was suddenly called upon by Principal Phyllis, was completely unprepared for an answer, so she just stammered in response. Actually, I wanted to invite you and Liuyan as professors a year ago, but you refused at that time. No, Liuyan refused for you, so I really want to find an opportunity to ask you about yourself. Idea. Xiao 11, this is a good opportunity. Although I don't know what a professor is, he sounds very powerful. But this guy probably wants to be more ordinary, right? Ling helped Way 11 explain it simply and clearly, and she also tried to understand the little follower around her. As expected, Way 11 did not deny it. On the other side, Principal Phyllis found the dormitory schedule. She glanced at the content and smiled slightly. There is no problem in the girls' dormitory. But in the boys' dormitory, last semester, a third-year student brought a toxic reagent back to the dormitory without permission and then leaked it. Now the rooms on the entire floor are uninhabitable. What should I do? Principal Phyllis sounded troubled when she spoke, but to Ika it sounded like she was being arranged. Right now, the dormitory administrator's room is still empty. No administrator has moved in yet, so it's just sitting there. Ika can go there first and take a look. I think you won't have any questions after seeing it. Opinion. As she said that, she took out the same PDA as Ika and the others. The key was given to tutor Letica. I will now inform her to come and pick you up. The staff here are treated very well. Xiao 11, wouldn't it be a shame if you didn't become a professor? I really want to know where the operating funds of Shimizuki Academy are obtained. Basically, countries and organizations that have a cooperative relationship with Frost Moon Academy will fund the construction of the academy, including the Empire and the Holy See. Although she is the youngest among the four, Way 11 has the most information on such political matters. However, this information can only be obtained in the Holy See. Now that you have left the Holy See, it is difficult to learn more about the inside story. This is a two-story building. There are 3 empty rooms and storage rooms on the second floor. The first floor has basic configurations such as a complete bathroom, a kitchen counter, and a dining room. Although it is not as good as Liuyan's mansion, as a temporary residence for students, there should be no better place in the entire continent than here. Although no one lives here, it is still cleaned regularly, so you can move in right away. Well, I feel like it's a waste if it's not used here. It would be just right for Ika-san to stay here for a while. Then what? What are your plans? Principal Phyllis and teacher Letica looked at Ika and the others. I will live here until the boys' dormitory is repaired. What they say? I just received the report from the student union. Everyone looked at Principal Phyllis, who was looking through the records with a PDA. The second-year girls who applied to drop out of school last semester withdrew their application yesterday, so the girls' dormitory is full again. There is no way, the room here should be enough for the 4 of you. As the principal of Shimizuki Academy, I approve you to live together. It's here. This is definitely a setting that I just came up with. Are you questioning the principal of Shigetsuki Academy, Ika-kun? Of course that's not what I meant, it's just. Of course, it depends on their own ideas. If I don't want to, I have other arrangements. What do you think? Principal Phyllis turned around and looked at the three girls. Probably, there's no problem, that guy can't do anything extraordinary anyway. Ling curled her hair with her fingers, looking indifferent. My brother and I are family. I envy my family so much. Huh? Xiao 11, what did you just say? Eh? No, it's nothing. I just want to say that I have no objection. Okay, that's a happy decision. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. And La Silver Machine. Author, Muse Hiking. Chapter 37. After staying in Liu Yin's home for such a long time, Ling and Wei 11's cooking skills have improved significantly. Did we forget something? Teacher Letica's dinner. It wasn't until Teacher Letica and Principal Felice had been away for such a long time that Lugo remembered the agreement he made a few hours ago under Wei 11's reminder. Principal Phyllis was here just now. Teacher Letica must be embarrassed to ask to stay here for dinner. Ling no longer used the fire element to process the ingredients randomly like the first time. Although it is an academy whose main research direction is supernatural power, collectively called magic, its daily equipment does not rely entirely on magical machinery, but uses conventional energy supplies. This initiative brings a lot of convenience to daily life. Although Wei 11's cautious character is not very efficient when doing things, the things she makes are very detailed. Because of this bonus point, minor issues can be completely ignored. I went out to find Teacher Letica. I shouldn't have gone too far yet. They don't have the contact information for Ritika's mentor yet, so they can't use the PDA to find her right now. I'll go with you. Ling put down what she was doing. I'll leave it to Lugo and Wei 11. Well, then I'll leave it to you. Make sure to give Teacher Letica a surprise. Brother Ika, Sister Ling, come on. Leave this to me and Wei 11. In order not to lose to Brother and Sister Ling, work hard. Although it was previously decided that the two of them would act together in order to search separately and improve efficiency. But now they are still walking along the academy path one after another. A subtle distance opened up between Ling and Ika. Ika. Have you found Instructor Letica? No, it's another thing. Ika heard the hesitation in Ling's tone. Although the top priority now is to find Instructor Letica, Ika still slows down in line with Ling's pace. Despite this, Ling still did not walk side by side with Ika. As I said before, Wei 11 and I have been together for so long, so my feelings towards her should be said to be much better. You should say this to her face. How can I say it out loud? Ling's character really won't allow herself to bow to the other party first. Now the relationship between us always feels awkward, right? Well, when you say that, it seems like that is indeed the case. It feels like Luo is like a buffer between the two of you. This phenomenon is very common. Three people can chat normally, but once the central person leaves, the other two people will become silent. Wei 11 and I definitely can't get along alone with each other now. I think we should be considered friends. When she mentioned the word friend, Ling obviously hesitated. So now the relationship is bad, really bad. Her words revealed an inexplicable sense of loneliness. Ling and Wei 11 met under extremely special circumstances. This kind of conflict is not something that outsiders can intervene in. Ling should be very clear about this. Only when the two parties open their hearts to each other will there be a turning point. Ika listened quietly until the end. Ling deliberately walked behind him to prevent him from seeing that fragile expression, so he didn't look back and could only feel her mood from Ling's whisper. Wei 11 has been waiting for you to say forgive her in person. If you don't tell her in person, she will definitely keep her promise and will never leave you or get close to you. Of course I know this. Then what on earth do you want me to do? I will be very tired if this continues. In the silent space, Ling's voice seemed particularly hollow. Aika couldn't blame Ling for knowing the correct solution but being unable to act. What you have to consider now is to convey your thoughts to Way 11. Luoluo and I will try our best to help you create opportunities. As long as you seize them, you can change the status quo. The cool evening breeze unique to summer passed between the two of them with the crisp chirping of insects, and the gloomy atmosphere was quietly taken away. As expected, Instructor Letica did not go far. Aika and Ling found her at the front of the path not long after. The dinner prepared by Luoluo and Way 11 will not disappoint. After sending away the satisfied teacher Letica, everyone finally had to face the issues they had been deliberately avoiding before. The first is about bathroom time allocation. You use it first, and we will use it later. I don't need to bother you with the cleaning of the bathroom, we will take care of everything. Do you understand? Although everyone lived in the same house before, Liuyan and Shun were there, so no one realized that this was the so-called cohabitation. While Aika was packing her luggage, the girls had a serious discussion on the sidelines. Now Ling, as the girls' representative, made a request to the only boy here. I don't care. Wouldn't it be more convenient for you to use it before me? Brother, actually I don't care very much, but Sister Ling and Xiao 11 still have various considerations. I'm sorry, brother, this time I think it's better to do what Sister Ling said. If Brother Aika needs to use the bathroom after us, please go in after an hour. Way 11, who has always been obedient, also went around in circles to express her resistance. Although Aika didn't know what the special significance of this arrangement was, she still nodded and followed it. Immediately afterwards, everyone moved their luggage up to the second floor. There is only one key to each of the 3 rooms, and teacher Letica gave it to Aika before leaving. After everyone figured out the door corresponding to each key, Aika handed all the keys to Luoluo. There are only 3 rooms, if I also move in, 2 of the 3 of you must live together. Is this really okay? Ling didn't respond. In short, brother, you must live in one of the rooms, and we will discuss the rest. Luoluo directly cut off Aika's idea of sleeping on the sofa. She forcefully put one of the keys into Aika's hand, and then pushed him into the outermost room. Brother Aika, good night. When the door was closed, Aika saw Way 11 waving to him with a smile. It's really nerve-wracking. Since Luoluo was so insistent, Aika could only accept her kindness. He looked around the room. The expected single room, wardrobe, desk, the same complete furniture. Aika opened the window, and the refreshing evening breeze blew into this room that had not been air circulated. The dull feeling in the room that had not been used for a long time was wiped away. He stuck his head out of the window and looked into the room next to him. Just in time to meet Luoluo's eyes, who also poked his head out of the room next to him. Brother, I didn't expect the 2 rooms to be so close to each other. Yes. For the first time, Aika and Luoluo were separated by physical distance, and even greeting them seemed a bit unnatural. Luoluo smiled shyly again and immediately retreated into her room. After Luoluo disappeared, Aika felt an inexplicable feeling of loneliness in her heart. Separation from Lolo is not forever. If you want to see her now, just go to the next room and knock on the door. But in the days to come, Luoluo will be farther and farther away from himself. Because he is her family, he cannot always stay by her side. If it wasn't a family member, would the outcome be different? How is it possible that there is such a possibility? Not in the mood to clean up the room, Aika lay directly on the bed. Don't want to do anything now. End La Silver Machine. Author, Muse Hiking. Chapter 38. The girls' rooms are the innermost and middle ones, and they are all gathered in the middle room now. I don't know why, but everyone defaults to this being Luoluo's room. This bed is too big to sleep 3 people. Luoluo said regretfully. The girls' plan was to sleep together like they did at Liuyun's house. But this is Shimazuki Academy's facility after all, and it is impossible to meet such extravagant requirements. I'll just choose the room inside, Way 11, you. I can just stay in this room. If anything happens to Sister Ling, you can call me at any time, although I can't help you much. Although Way 11's expression was very euphemistic, the meaning she wanted to convey was already very clear. It would be unreasonable for Ling to pretend not to understand, so be it. He didn't make any offer to stay, but followed Way 11's wishes. This was not what Ling really wanted to say, but his body involuntarily acted like this. In the final analysis, it turns out that all the reasons lie with yourself. Didn't Way 11 express her thoughts very well? Only he remained where he was, wearing a fragmented mask, barely maintaining the slightest trace of self-esteem. When that guy finishes using the bathroom, you go and use it first. I'll take some time to clean up the new room. Just let me know when you're done. Ling maintained her usual attitude and left Luoluo's room with her bag. When she closed the door, she turned her head slightly and looked away. Way 11 unnaturally looked away. The door closed silently. Xiao 11, why? Luoluo, what are you talking about? Why did you reject Sister Ling just now? The tone of Luoluo and Way 11's conversation had never been as intense as it was today. The first time Luoluo accused her, Way 11 shrank her shoulders in fear. I won't cause trouble to Luoluo. Is not what it means. Luoluo's voice was actually not loud, because the rooms were very close, so it might be heard by Ling or Ika. It was just Luoluo's uncharacteristic attitude that Way 11 couldn't bear. You should know that Sister Ling is actively looking for opportunities to change the relationship between you. Normally she would never consider such a thing. It must be what brother said to her tonight. Why waste the time of brother and Sister Ling? Kindness. I really think this is the best thing now. I can't get too close to Sister Ling, otherwise, it will be completely different from the original goal. I have been watching you these past few months. You and Sister Ling are like walking on a single plank bridge. No matter who you are, you can't move forward without taking a step back. Neither of them continued. Way 11 lowered her head dejectedly, her bangs hanging down weakly. The intermittent low water droplets reflect the slightly dazzling light. Luoluo opened his package silently, but had no plans to decorate the room now. After looking inside the bag for a while, she walked towards the door empty-handed. I'm going to ask my brother to take a bath. Then, Way 11 was left alone in this space. Ika soaked her whole body in the bath, and the warm feeling instantly took away the fatigue of a day's travels. Originally he just wanted to rest for a while, but the soft bed took away his consciousness without mercy, and he didn't notice it until Luoluo knocked on the door for a long time. Luoluo smiled and said that she didn't care, and now she went to pack away the tableware that had been forgotten just to allocate rooms while Ika was taking a bath. After taking a nap, most of the previous melancholy has dissipated. When she saw Luoluo standing in front of the door, Ika regained her sense of security. Can just an opportunity have such a great impact on a person's emotions? Or is it that this feeling has taken root in my heart a long time ago? I just want to protect her, that's all. Ika repeated it several times in her heart, feeling that she had strengthened her belief before standing up from the water. Ling absent-mindedly packed the clothes she had brought with her into a simple wardrobe. I didn't expect that my current life would be messed up by that guy. Before meeting Ika, he had always believed that the future was full of despair, but this despair was also the spiritual pillar that supported his survival. Now, I actually have enough time to worry about my friends. If we hadn't met, my goals would definitely be clearer now, and I wouldn't have so many worries. However, I don't want to deny the present moment. Smoothing the folded corners of the last set of clothes in the box, Ling closed the closet door. After looking around the house, I realized that I didn't bring much, so the house still felt empty. If this is the case, it's okay for one more person to live there. I don't know who the last sentence was meant for. Although the room was empty, there was not even an echo, and the unintentional words were carried out the window by the evening breeze without leaving any trace. At this time, a gentle, intermittent knock on the door broke into his thoughts. I can't understand the current situation. Sorry for disturbing you. Luoluo wrapped herself in a bath towel and carefully opened the bathroom door. Because this place can be called her own home from now on, and the restaurant is guarded by her sister, Aika habitually left the bathroom door unlocked. Unexpectedly, the person who should be the most reassuring person has now become the mastermind of the incident. Luoluo, why, you? Aika looked at her sister through the fog without knowing why she closed the door behind her back. The sound of click and the sound of dripping water sounded at the same time, and Luoluo locked the bathroom door. Don't worry so much, brother. I'm dressed well. Luoluo let go of the hand that had been holding her chest, and the bath towel covering her body slid down according to gravity. Luoluo's slender body was wrapped in a pure white one-piece swimsuit, which was the swimsuit she had worn when she was at the beach. Because of the difference in time and place, at that time I just felt that this outfit was very suitable for Luoluo, but now, Aika feels a completely different impulse. The white swimsuit that clings tightly to the body fully reveals Luoluo's characteristics as a girl. Surrounded by the warm mist, Luoluo's face turned slightly red, and her wet hair stuck to her slightly childish face. Luoluo just stood there quietly, trying her best to look at her feet as if she didn't mind, waiting for her brother's answer. After reacting, Aika hurriedly turned her body away from Luoluo. Speaking of it, when he started to speak, Aika realized that his voice was hoarse. He quickly moistened his dry throat. We haven't taken a bath together like this for a long time. Aika didn't know what to say. Luoluo is not the kind of child who makes trouble unreasonably. As her brother who has been with her for 15 years, she knows this very well. Because my brother has been avoiding me. Really, because we have all grown up. But we are family, it wouldn't be strange to do such a thing, right? I know it's cunning to say this, but I can only find this excuse. Luoluo whispered and slowly approached the bath. Although Aika knew that Luoluo was in a place that could be touched when she turned around, she couldn't even say anything to stop her from continuing like this. I felt Luoluo's weight on my back, and the body temperature that usually felt so comfortable now seemed too hot. Luoluo and Aika sat back to back in the small bathtub. Brother, just let me stay like this for a while. Ling opened the door and looked at the visitor with some surprise. Wei 11 was standing at the door anxiously. Have you finished using the bathroom? I'll go over now. No, it's not. Why? Ling stopped mid-sentence when she noticed the luggage at Wei 11's feet. I still want to stay with Sister Ling. Wei 11 said this in a low voice, and then waited tremblingly for Ling's reaction. Whatever you want, it's no problem for another person to live in this room. Ling turned around and walked into the house, leaving the door open in front of Wei 11. Still the same tone as always. Wei 11, of course, had no way of knowing that Ling, who had his back turned to her, had always had his frosty expression melting away. I don't know when it started, but a few minutes have passed since the new day. Although it is just one of thousands of nights in life, for some people, its meaning cannot be replaced by anything. End La Silver Machine. Author, Muse Hiking. Chapter 39. The next morning, when Aika came downstairs, breakfast was already ready. The girls seemed to have reached an agreement without him knowing. If there is time, everyone will take turns to be responsible for breakfast, and dinner will be prepared together after everyone comes back. Today's breakfast was prepared by Ling. She had done a lot of practice in private, and breakfast was relatively simple, so there was nothing to be picky about Ling's cooking. "Sister Ling, I brought these over." "Well, please." The atmosphere between Wei 11 and Ling seems to have relaxed a lot. What must have happened last night? Ika looked at the two busy people and breathed a sigh of relief. "Did you ask Luoluo to wake up when you came down just now?" Ika shuddered when she heard Ling's question. However, Ling and Wei 11 were busy setting the table and did not notice his subtle reaction. "I knocked on Luoluo's door this morning, but she seemed to be sleeping soundly. If you don't wake her up now, she will definitely be late. I just called her, don't worry." Ika hid her wavering eyes and walked quickly to the wash basin inside. 10 minutes ago. Brother, get up quickly." While half asleep, I heard a familiar voice, and the force that pushed me was also familiar. Ika tried to open her eyes. The summer sun rises very early, and the dazzling sunlight hits my eyes directly from the window. Knowing that Ika was very angry in bed, Luoluo would use this tough method to wake him up. Morning. Ika sat up with his heavy body, and Lolo, who was wearing pajamas, had already opened the window to ventilate the room. Last night, Wei 11 had already shared a room with Ling, and Ika had no reason to reject Luoluo, who was alone. The two spent a long night in the same bed. Ika couldn't remember when she fell asleep, and she still felt tired after waking up. The most appropriate thing to do was to keep silent about what happened last night, so neither of them touched the fuse. "I'll go downstairs later. You can come out in a few minutes." Ika avoided her sister's gaze on her. "Okay, all right." She just smiled. Luoluo came to the table soon after. "Sister Luoluo, thank you last night." After Wei 11 saw Luoluo coming downstairs, she trotted to her side. "This is your own effort, you don't need to say thank you to me. And that, I'm sorry to leave you alone." "It really doesn't matter, Xiao 11, you think too much." Luoluo smiled and touched Wei 11's head. "You and Sister Ling should get along well." "You two, stop whispering over there. Teacher Letica will be coming to pick us up soon. You must not be late on the first day." Ling urged Luoluo and Wei 11 while placing the plates on the dining table. "Ah, sorry, I'll be ready soon." Luoluo quickly turned around and walked towards the wash basin, and Ika just walked out of it after washing. Brother, good morning." "Morning." The two greeted each other vaguely. I have obviously said the same thing in the room before, but it feels very awkward to say it again now. Those two people seem a little strange. Ling was keenly aware of the atmosphere between Ika and Luoluo. "Forget it, it has nothing to do with me." After telling myself this, my feeling of depression was relieved a lot. When everyone was getting ready, the doorbell happened to ring. I arrived at Shimizuki Academy too late last night, so I didn't see any other students besides them. In the early morning of the first day of school, Shiyu Academy appeared in front of everyone with a new look. Although there were only about 200 students as mentioned by teacher Letica, the scene of more than 200 people gathered in the central square was very spectacular. The central square is an open-air circular building, with enough seats surrounding the walls to accommodate the teachers and students of the entire college. Prior to this, everyone had learned through Wei 11 that the area of the neutral area under the jurisdiction of Shiyu Academy was no less than that of the Bizi Empire. After the end of the cross-border war, diplomatic relations between different races, countries, and tribes were basically severed. Big figures who left their names in the history of the cross-border war joined forces to create a hub for the study of supernatural abilities without borders and racial differences, Frost Moon. The area where the academy is located is defined as an absolutely inviolable neutral area. It drafted and promulgated enforceable continental peace treaties, unified currency, and other common continental items. Shiyu Academy attracts researchers and scholars from all over the world with its credibility, and has established the most comprehensive interdisciplinary system in the mainland. Its hidden strength is no less than any force, symbolizing the absolute authority of the mainland. Sure enough, there are all kinds of people here. Ling looked around. Before this, it was only a race that was rumored, and they were all present in Shimizuki Academy. Humans were the most populous race on the continent before the cross-border war. Due to the inherent lower magic reserves than the long-lived species, lack of physical strength of the orcs, and insufficient understanding of the magic system, the development and utilization of magic by humans is still at its lowest stage, and it is at an irreversible disadvantage in cross-border wars. The population sharp decrease. It was not until the emergence of magic equipment and the introduction of the magic machine theory that combined magic and technology that the extinction of the race was avoided. The population of the gods is less than 1/10 of that of humans. They are good at using deformed light magic and are known for their aggressiveness with the speed of light and high thermal energy. In the cross-border war, the gods have no specific purpose. They just regard this war as a game and do not cooperate with any race. They may break into the chaotic battle alone at any time. They are called an elegant and barbaric race. The magic power of vampires has a specific viscosity, they can freely manipulate their own blood, and they have a self-healing ability that is 10 times more than that of humans. For other races, just releasing magic power can create a threat. In cross-border wars, the vampires are the only race that can stop the intrusion of the gods with pure power. The elves are mostly women, and most of them are petite. They are a non-militant race. They strive to protect themselves in cross-border wars and only take independent defense when they have to. Orcs have ears and tails that are similar to those of other races. Magical power is similar to humans, and they are better at thinking and development. They are characterized by their athletic ability and reflexes that far exceed those of humans. They have a place in cross-border wars with a fighting style that focuses on physical skills and supplements magic. Only after seeing it with your own eyes can you understand Way 11's past popular science. At this time, Aika thought of the girl she met in the family restaurant before. Teacher Letica, is there a girl named Chiuke in our class? Eh? How did you know? When we first came here, we were taken care of in her family's store, and we got to know each other at that time. Chiuke is the monitor of our class. You should get along well with each other in the future. On the high platform on the opposite side, Principal Phyllis's speech has already begun. Since it was the second semester, there were no new students except Aika, so Principal Phyllis's speech was simple and clear. In just a few minutes, the first assembly of the new semester of Shimizuki Academy came to an end. The 3 grades are on 3 different floors from low to high. Going above is the ordinary student activity room, which is usually used by indoor clubs. As instructor Letica introduced, there are only about a dozen students in the twin class. When introducing himself, Chiuke, who was sitting in the front row as expected, quietly waved to Aika, his big soft tail wagging excitedly from behind the chair. Aika chose the middle seat by the window, and their positions were quickly decided. Way 11 sat in the front row of Aika, Luoluo chose the seat to the right of Aika, and Ling sat behind Aika with an indifferent expression. I'm the monitor of this class, and I'm in the same class as I guessed. Please take good care of me in the future, Chiuke-san. Why do you know my name? By the way, you also knew that I was a student here before. Are you the legendary stalker? Chiuke took a timid step back, holding his fluffy tail in front of him as if to cover his body. What on earth did I do to make you think that way? Aika suddenly felt that she had failed as a human being. All the girls who know him have some inexplicable misunderstandings about him, including his own sister. I heard your father call your name that day. You should be about the same age as my sister, so I guess that you are also a student. Your sister? The one who stands behind you. Chiuke quickly turned around, and Luoluo was standing behind her with a smile, probably coming to say hello. I'm Luoluo. I was taken care of by you in the store yesterday. Lugo, who stood quietly behind Chiuke, once again seriously introduced himself and thanked him. Yesterday, Lugo woke up after Chiuke left. For her, this was the first time she met Chiuke, so it was impossible for her to talk to her naturally like Aika and the others. No, there's no need to say thank you so solemnly. Class is about to start, I'll go back first. Chiuke coyly hugged her tail, smiled shyly and ran away. Although she looks very natural, she seems to be very bad at dealing with such serious situations. Student Chiuke, I've been telling you for half a year, don't run around in the classroom, but you still haven't remembered it. Yeah, sorry. The monitor was caught red-handed by the class instructor who happened to come in. Wow, what a strong sense of déjà vu. Ling sighed quietly behind her, and Aika felt the same way. It's incredible that Chiuke can still be re-elected as monitor. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Endless Silver Machine. Author, Muse Hiking. Chapter 40. Aika from the first grade twin class, please go to the principal's office in the office building immediately after hearing this broadcast. I had only been in the corridor of the office building once last night, but I was more nervous walking alone than with everyone. Unlike the teaching building, the corridors of the office building are quiet during the day. This place is not far from the teaching building, but there is no sound from the outside world at all. Aika didn't know what happened to Principal Phyllis, so she didn't hesitate to use the radio that could be heard by the entire school to inform herself. The first thing that comes to mind is the issue of living with 3 girls. Maybe Principal Phyllis has found a more suitable solution, Aika guessed. Obviously it should be something to be happy about, but when I think about it, I feel a little more lonely. It's too slow. It should have been more than 10 minutes since I received the notification. Lu Yin. In the principal's office, besides Principal Phyllis, there was also someone who would not have appeared here originally. That sharp look that was different from Wei 11's, and the same silver hair that reached her waist like Wei 11's, she was indeed that incredibly wealthy martial arts girl. Auntie, I still have something to talk to him about. Thank you for lending me the radio. Goodbye. Don't call me aunt. Liuyan, it's not Principal Felice who's looking for me today, but you. From the conversation she had just had with Principal Phyllis, she could basically guess a rough idea. I was working here part-time. Today I suddenly remembered what I promised you before, so I just came to fulfill it. Liuyan pulled Aika forward without looking back, feeling that her pace was getting faster and faster. But each of her steps was small, so Aika had no problem keeping up with her. What did you promise me before? Aika recalled the days when she was with Liuyan, but she couldn't remember what she had asked Liuyan to do. Have you forgotten? Liuyan stopped, turned around and narrowed his eyes. It's obviously your own business, but you forgot it before me. Ahaha, how could it be possible? Aika worked hard to stimulate her brain. Liuyan, Shiyu Academy, magic equipment. I remember you said you wanted to introduce me to a professor who can guide me in using magic equipment. You really forgot before this. Feel sorry. Really, it's a shame that I've been planning to come over to you on the first day of school. It's nothing. Since I promised you, I will definitely keep my promise. Really, I never want to see your face again. Liuyan muttered and walked to the elevator, using magic power to control the small ice cube and press the button higher than her. Hey, wait for me. But Liuyan seemed not to hear him and closed the elevator door. After half a minute, Aika came to the first floor. Fortunately, Liuyan hasn't left yet. She sat on a bench beside the school path with a bored expression, her legs dangling slightly in the air. Occasionally, senior students passing by would greet her. It seemed that she was a well-known figure in Shigetsuki Academy. So slow. Liu jumped down from the bench lightly, looking very dissatisfied. You said you were working part-time here before. Are you that professor? Yeah, have you heard that? The two walked side by side again. When we first came here, Principal Phyllis also invited Way 11. That old aunt. I told her a long time ago not to talk to Xiao 11 about that kind of thing again, and yet she did something small while I was away. I don't quite understand, but I heard that the professor's position pays very well. Aren't you doing it now? This was forced by the old aunt. She promised that as long as I was willing to take this job, she would not trouble Xiao 11 again. What's the difference between a professor and a tutor? Professors will not teach students. The college will allocate research rooms for each invited professor. Simply put, they will conduct research in various fields in the name of Shiyu Academy. The reason why I don't want Xiao 11 to take over this job is I don't want her to be restricted by her own abilities. The most important thing is to be able to freely find what she wants to do. What about you? Aren't you already restrained for speaking great truth? I don't have anything else to do. The only thing I'm worried about is Xiao 11. I've left it to you now, so I'm not dissatisfied with my current situation. Would Way 11 think so? From my point of view, you just put your hopes on Way 11. Do you know what Way 11 really thinks? You have arranged various things for Way 11 secretly. Maybe it is true. Help Way 11 avoid many detours, but does Way 11 really want this? You mean, this is just my self-satisfaction? That's what I mean. After Liu Yin heard these words, he immediately stopped. They had reached a relatively remote place, and there were no other students around. Therefore, Liu Yin's next actions should be expected. You are talking to yourself, what do you know about us? You have just left your parents, and you have only known Xiao 11 for more than 3 months. What do you know? People who have everything should not talk nonsense here. Ika silently accepted her sharp-edged finger, and then spoke slowly. Way 11 has told me everything, and this is also her true wish. Endless Silver Machine. Author, Muse Hiking. Chapter 41. A month ago, everyone had been living in Liu Yin's mansion for a while. Way 11 knocked lightly on the door of Ika's room, but after waiting for a long time, there was no response. She turned the handle carefully, and the door was unlocked. Brother Ika is out yet. There was no one in the room, and the simple decoration fit Ika's character very well. After knowing that no one was here, Way 11 walked around the house with great interest. When she found something of interest, she would get closer and observe it carefully, but she did not touch it randomly. Sit, it doesn't matter if you sit down for a while. She gently sat on the edge of Ika's bed. It's obviously the same bed as the one in my room, but I don't know why. The heartbeat becomes faster. Way 11 just lay down without even realizing it. A different taste. What are you doing? My groggy brain can no longer distinguish that kind of thing. Way 11's hand unconsciously touched a part of her dress that gradually became a little different from usual, and a tingling feeling like an electric current quickly flowed through her body. The body has become strange. There seemed to be a voice in his head warning him to stop immediately, but his hand reached under the dress uncontrollably. Want more touch, want to feel more tingling feeling. At this moment, Way 11's remaining rationality was still resisting the incomprehensible stimulation, but her body's instinctive desire for this feeling prevented her from stopping. Once you stop, it becomes even more difficult to suppress the craving. Why haven't you? As long as the desire accumulated somewhere is consumed, the body should return to normal. But Way 11 didn't know how to use up the desire accumulated somewhere, so she could only clumsily seek more intense stimulation. The door opened at an inappropriate time. Way 11. Are you asleep? Ika walked lightly to the bed. You will catch a cold if you sleep like this. He slowly hugged Wei 11's slender shoulders and thighs with his hands. In order not to wake Wei 11, Ika tried his best to move gently. After picking up Wei 11's body, Ika noticed her higher body temperature and her cheeks, which were rosier than usual. Woo! Are you awake already? Sorry, I just want to send you back to your room. Being held like this, Wei 11 could no longer pretend. Opening his eyes, he met Ika at a very close distance. Me too, I'm sorry for entering Brother Ika's room without permission. She had been hugged by Ika once before, so this time she did not struggle fiercely, but docilely curled up in Ika's arms like a small animal. No need to apologize for this, Ika put Wei 11 down. Do you have something to tell me here? Also, do you have a fever? Actually it is. Wei 11's face turned redder than before. Brother Ika. Can you wait for me here for a moment? I want to go back to my room first. If you feel unwell, you can rest here. Noticing that something was wrong with Wei 11's condition, Ika thought so and took a step forward. In contrast, Wei 11 took a few small steps back. No. That. I want to go back and change my underwear. Wei 11 couldn't say it no matter what. But wearing underwear that had become sticky, she couldn't calm down at all. Yeah, sorry. So she kept her head down and ran out of Ika's room. Half an hour later, Wei 11 returned to Ika's room. Excuse me for disturbing you. The reason it took so long was because Wei 11 took a brief bath in the bathroom and made sure there was no smell left before returning here. Of course, Ika didn't know Wei 11's troubles at all. He just takes it for granted that it takes a longer time for girls to change clothes. Actually, there is something I want to discuss with Brother Ika this time. Then, Wei 11 told Ika in detail the situation between herself and Liuyan from the time they were adopted by the orphanage to the time they entered the Holy See. Xiaoan is like my sister. She helps me secretly with many things. She must think that I don't know anything. Xiaoan would definitely say that she is not dissatisfied with her current situation. But even if she can accept it herself, I can't accept it. Xiaoan must have something she wants to do, but for me, if this continues, neither she nor I will be happy. Even if I hope Xiaoan can change, she just deals with me casually. So, Brother Ika, please help me find the real Xiaoan. She really said that. Liuyan stood there blankly, completely unaware of the tears she shed. Ika knelt down in front of her and wiped away the tears on her face with her hands. It's really worrying. Why do you two like to show off your strength so much? I'm not trying to be brave. I've thought about it a lot myself. You are trying to show off your strength by saying this. Thinking is not that simple. You should know it by now, right? What you think of thinking is to make the other party happy, but there are countless ways to make both parties happy, and you have never didn't think about it. Aren't you also talking about the truth? Yeah, I'm talking about the truth. Ika admitted it outright, which made Liuyan not sure how to react. Just like this, people like me can also speak out great truths casually. Therefore, it is easy to pretend to think, but it is very painful to really think. Ika stood up. After talking for so long, the horizon has been dyed pale gold. Anyway, let's think differently. If we keep worrying Wei 11, isn't it putting the cart before the horse? Compared to me, Xiao 11 actually relies on you more. Because they are friends. Then I'll just take it like that. Liuyan wiped away the tears hanging on his cheeks and stepped forward again. It's all because of you that I wasted so much time. It's almost dark, you have to be responsible for sending me back. Okay, I understand. When he came back to his senses, he seemed to be nosy again. However, if Wei 11 and Liuyan could go further because of this, he would never regret it.